Miss Combos with Laura Newseth. Yahoo everyone, and welcome back to Miss Combos with Laura Newseth. So yesterday I finally watched the Project Sekai movie in Mexico, and I'm gonna give you my spoiler-free review. Once again, this will be a spoiler-free review. I will not go into detail. I truly want every single fan to just be surprised and experience the movie the same way I did, except for the last scene, which someone on TikTok ruined it for me because they posted just like literally the last scene of the movie. I had avoided all types of spoilers since the movie came out in Japan. I had friends in Japan that watched the movie. They didn't spoil it for me, and then freaking TikTok. But you know what? Like, I still really enjoyed the movie, so I just do not want to spoil it for anyone. But I recently made a video about things you should know about the Project Sekai movie before you watch the movie, and I can confirm the things that I said still stand true. So if you are going into the movie without any knowledge about the Project Sekai characters, you're going to be a little bit confused because the way the movie begins, you're expected to know who these people are that are on the screen. They just go straight into it. And I do think having some very basic knowledge about the characters as well as the units will help you enjoy the movie a little bit more, since they are the ones carrying the movie and not the Krypton Vocaloids. Yes, they were on the movie a lot more than I actually thought they would, but the movie is actually carried by the original Project Sekai characters, particularly Ichika. And if you don't know Ichika's backstory, I think like she's the character that you probably need to know a little bit more about her. Otherwise, I feel like you're going to be like, why this girl? Why is she getting all the screen time as opposed to every other Project Sekai character? I do want to mention one thing that wasn't in my previous video that I feel like you should know going into the movie. Since we are dealing with 5 units, each unit does get their own amount of screen time, but the way the plot kind of flows kind of feels like you're watching 5 different perspectives of the plot of the movie. If you are an Idol rhythm game franchise fan, let's say like a Hypnosis Mic fan, or even Idolmaster fan, like you kind of know how series will basically kind of go from one unit to the next unit, and sometimes it seems a little bit disjointed, but they have like the same like common like plot that they all have to follow as well. It's kind of the same thing with Project Sekai, I'm not gonna lie. Like this movie, although we had the same common plot about helping that Miku find her voice, you would be watching Wonderland Showtime, and then all of a sudden you're with Vivid Bat Squad or Murmur Jump. Like they kind of like jump through all the units. So in that regards, like you do need to be aware that the plot is not completely linear. Like, you will jump around. It's kind of like zigzaggy in a way, in my opinion. It doesn't really ruin it for me. I'm kind of used to it because I am a fan of other franchises. For me, it just felt very reminiscent to the Hypnosis Mic anime, where we do kind of jump around between the perspectives of the other units, but it's just something that I feel like you guys should know. Now, I will say that the plot itself is very easy to understand because the theme of the movie is quite a universal theme. If you read the synopsis or watch my previous video where I talk about the synopsis, it's a very basic premise. So we have a Miku that cannot sing, and her voice cannot be heard by the people that she wants to reach out to. So we do basically see how the original Project Sekai cast helps her discover her voice so she can actually sing to the people that she wants to sing to. That in itself is pretty easy to understand, and I also think that the theme of working hard to achieve your dreams is something that is going to be universally understood. I was also asked if the movie had any cussing or violence and all of that. The movie is rated PG in the US, like that's the official rating. So there is no strong swear words, there's no violence, there's nothing sexual in the movie. and I think it's pretty family friendly, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. I will say that there are depictions of bad mental health, like depression and anxiety, but if you already play the game, you know that those themes have been explored in the game in the past. As for the animation itself, I really enjoyed it, but I knew that going in because the studio that worked on the movie is the same studio that handled the Journey to Bloom shorts. So if you like the animation for Journey to Bloom, you're going to love the animation in the movie. It's pretty much the same, just a little bit more elevated in my opinion. I was really able to admire, especially the facial expressions. I think the animators did such a good job with those. And once you watch the movie, I think you'll agree with me because you saw a lot of expressions that we really haven't seen in Project Sekai. So there's definitely things to look forward to. I think by now a lot of you have heard the commission songs for the movie, especially all the Deco Nina songs. Yes, they are in the movie. That's why they were commissioned in the first place. And I will say that the musical performances in the movie were animated so well. It made me appreciate the units a little bit more. Not that I didn't appreciate them before, but in Project Sekai, since we're used to watching them perform in virtual lives, like sometimes I just don't feel connected enough to like realize that these kids are actually going after their dreams. They're performing for real life people and not just the little tofu heads. And in the movie, you get to see how hard they're actually working in order to follow their dreams, which was something that I really, really enjoyed, and it made me appreciate all the units as well as all the characters even more. I will say whoever handled all the dialogue that the Vocaloids did an amazing job because all of them sounded amazing. Not only Miku, but every single other like Vocaloid that spoke in the movie that had lines. They all sounded so good, and they had a lot more screen time than I thought they would get, which was definitely a very good thing. Now, as for the movie itself and how I would personally rate it, I mean, I am a huge Project Sekai fan and have been for over 3 years at this point. I did start playing it in December 2021, but I started listening to the music during lockdown in summer of 2020, so it's been a while, okay? Obviously, I'm very attached to the characters in the franchise as well as the game itself. So for me, although I am a huge fan of Project Sekai, it's not the greatest movie ever made. I would give it an 8 out of 10 if I could rate it that, because I am attached to the characters and the storyline and everything. If you're going into the movie with zero knowledge, and I feel like a lot of the American movie critics are most likely going to rate the movie pretty low because it doesn't really, like, since you have a lot of the backstory that's missing in the movie, there's some missing pieces to the puzzle if you're not familiar with these characters. If you are a fan of Project Sekai, then I feel like since this movie was made for the fans themselves, then you have nothing to worry about, and I think you will enjoy it. And now I would like to talk about my experience watching the movie outside of Japan. So I've been getting a lot of the same questions over and over, so I thought I would answer them in this segment of the video. So first of all, the movie was just subbed in Spanish because I watched it in Mexico. None of the countries that have announced the movie so far have announced a dub, so you should be expecting just the translated subtitles. Another question that I've been getting is if we got gifts for watching the movie, and the answer is no. There are no gifts and no merchandise to be purchased. At least there wasn't in Mexico. I know some special screenings did hand out like a postcard, but again, that was a special screening and not nationwide. They did have special tickets, but apparently they sold out very quickly into the pre-sale. So when I went to watch the movie, they were completely sold out of the special printed tickets. Another thing that I've been getting asked a lot is whether I got the code for watching the movie, and the answer is no. The way Mexico is handling the code distribution is very different from Japan. In Japan, you were handed out a little paper with the code and also directions on how to redeem the code on the Project Sekai web store. Now, for Mexico, you were not handed the code automatically. It was not in the regular ticket. It was not in the special ticket either. So what you need to do is go to the distributor's website. So for Mexico, it is Fanime R, Fanime R, and you have to go and fill out the form that they have. So basically, you just have to provide some information, including the proof of purchase. That way they know that you actually did pay to see the movie, and they will email you the code. So that's the way it works. I still haven't done it myself, but I will be taking the time to go through and just filling out the form. And the code is supposedly going to be working only on the English server, since that is the default server for Mexico. I will test it out and see if if it works in the Japanese server. I am not super confident about that, but I will test it out, and if it does work, I'll let you know, and if it doesn't work, I will also let you know. That way you don't waste your time. Another question that I've been getting asked is if this movie is going to be reaching every single theater in your country, and the answer is I do not know. I know tickets are not available for pre-sale in every single country that has the movie so far, so if you just have your favorite cinema chain, you can check and see if you can buy pre-sale tickets. If not, they should be releasing the list of theaters fairly soon, usually a few weeks before the movie actually comes out. I also got a lot of questions regarding the post-movie concert, and I don't know if every single country bringing the movie will have that, but I really hope so, because honestly it was pretty short and it doesn't add too much to the runtime of the movie. The movie itself is only an hour and 50 minutes long, so it's on the shorter side. And the way it worked in Mexico was that you had to sit through the entire ending credits. So just sit down, be patient, watch the credits roll down, and then at the very end, there was another screen, and you basically got the house rules. Miku would tell you like, oh, you can use your light stick. If you want to sing, you can. If you want to clap, you can, but you have to remain seated in your spot, so you can't just like stand up and like walk around to dance or whatever you want to do. So they gave you the house rules, and then the performance began. The performance was just one song using the 3D models from the game. It just kind of looked like a virtual live, but without the fan cam option, so you would just see the stage, whoever was performing, and they just did the one song, and that was it. I'm not going to say which song was performed and who performed, because I want you guys to experience it the same way that I did, but it was just a very simple performance, and that was it. In my movie theater, it seemed like the people did not know that there was an extra scene at the very, very end. So unfortunately, they turned on the lights, they had the AC blasting. The people that were going to clean up the room were already there, just kind of like, dude, like, can you please hurry up? So just having the lights on ruined the immersion experience because it was so bright in there. So I really hope that more theaters do get the memo, so that way they can keep the lights turned off and just make the little concert experience feel more like a, actual Vocaloid concert or virtual concert. So yeah, I really hope that that memo gets passed on, because it did kind of ruin it for me. Another thing that I will say kind of was a little annoying was having fans actively explain to their friends about who each character was. Like, the girl next to my mom was definitely a Project Sekai fan and knew quite a lot. And she had to be constantly explaining throughout the movie to her friend that was sitting next to her who these characters were. So although she kept her voice very low, I could still hear the bzz, 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 bzz every single time like something would pop on screen that wasn't like common knowledge for the general public. If you're a friend bringing someone that doesn't know about Project Sekai, either save that till the end of the movie or just prep your friends before going to the movie about the characters and just little tidbits about them, so they're not fully like caught off guard when something happens in the movie. So in conclusion, I really like the Project Sekai movie. I think for the fans, it's something that will add more to how you appreciate the game. And like I said in my previous video about what to expect, I do suspect the things that happen in the movie to be manifested in the game at a later date, especially with the way the movie ended. So I think that's where I'm gonna end this video. If you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments below. I have made several videos about which countries are going to be getting the movie. I have a feeling that there's going to be more countries announcing the theatrical release of the movie at a later date. I mean, there's a lot of negotiation that goes on when it comes to licensing and distributing movies, so please be patient. But once I do find out about more announcements, I will let you guys know. And like I said, any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye bye!